Welcome to a special edition of the Bogart podcast. We have Nick with us.
What's up?
Nick, when I started working at the job I recently got, I didn't really know what the job was about. Like, I just saw it on Indeed and had no idea what it was about. Like, I had the job interview and they showed me around and, I was like, this can't be a thing. Like, this can't, like, it's so small. Like, you would think it would be a much bigger operation,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you got what you got, I mean, they started that, like a few years ago? Like, they started
what?
the online orders of where we work.
I don't know the lore of Country Max, but so I worked at one of the stores before this job.
Yeah.
And we had to send stuff out for what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So this was a couple years ago. I don't know how recent it is that they have this particular building.
Yeah.
Because I know there was like a mattress thing. I think it still says like mattress on the MapQuest or Apple Maps.
It's Spectrum Mattress or something like that.
No, Spectrum Windows and
oh yeah. Oh.
Because the guy keeps coming there sometimes asking if this is Spectrum Windows, and we're like, no, it's not. We're like, we wish.
Yeah.
No.
But yes, so, and before that I was working in the hospital and I liked it at first. Like getting to know the old residents and stuff like that when I worked in the nursing home side. It was a bad gig, but once the residents start dying that you got to know.
Yeah, that probably sucks, man.
It was like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do this much longer because it's just, I don't know. You get to know them and then they're gone the next day.
Yeah, my mom did that for a while. She was took care of the elderly and kind of ran a facility. She moved around from facility to facility doing that. And it does take a special kind of person to, enhance somebody's life when they're at the later stages of that. And that's always tough having to let go of somebody, but.
Yeah. And so, but where I worked, it was it was basically the Alzheimer's, right? Alzheimer's floor. And they didn't know where the hell they were. Is the bugs bothering you?
Oh, it was flying in my face.
Oh, because we might have to shut the door if they get too crazy. But yeah, so, I mean, they had Alzheimer's and they didn't know where they were. They didn't know what day it was. They basically, what they did for entertainment was they sat them down in almost like a dining room. And all they watched was like reels of like funny things like cats falling. And it was just such random. They don't know. They only have an attention span of like probably like 2 minutes. And then they forget what's going on. So yeah. And then I got one of the residents was, what he had was he had dementia, but it wasn't as bad as the other residents.
Right.
And so when I would clean his room, he would ask me, "Hey, can you find me a 2-bedroom apartment?" And I was like, "Oh man, like I can't. Like, what am I supposed to say?" So I was like, yeah, man, I'll find you a 2-bedroom apartment."
They probably don't like give you like training, right, on how to handle these kind of situations, right?
No.
And out of all the places that should offer training, you'd think, elderly care would be.
Well, I worked in environmental services, which it's just basically a fancy word for like a janitor. Like,
yep.
It's just, you go around and like, I don't hate the residents, but when they blow up the bathroom, like the toilets, that's when I kind of get a little bit like, what the fuck am I doing here? Cause like, yeah, it would be, some days would be fine. And the other days it just seems like they gave the residents chili or something and they just exploded everywhere. And
disgusting.
Yeah, man. So, but Yeah, I mean, I'm happy where I'm working now. You know,
That's good.
it's just it's a little hard on my body. I was a little sore. The the first 2 weeks I was there, I was really sore. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can handle this shit. And then I was like, I'll stick out. And now I'm fine. I have like growing pains and shit like that in my legs, but I don't know. You call it growing pains, but I don't know.
Grown pains. Already grown pains.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. So, Nick came up to me and he was like, hey, man, I want to do a podcast. And I was like, hell yeah, we'll do it. No problem. It's, I just got put up the Bogart podcast. I just put up that episode. Fucking the YOLO box just shit the bed midway through it, erasing everything from the beginning part of it. And so I got that up and, and then Nick's going to help me with the Grape Festival. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is the first time you're a wine connoisseur, right?
A little bit. Yeah. I've been getting into, past couple of years, I've been starting to get into wine a lot more and just enjoying it a lot more because I've tried to cut back a whole lot on some of the beer I used to drink, but
yeah,
I like wine. It's more tasteful. It's fun to, it's everything in moderation kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Naples is like there's at Grape Festival, they have like this big area where they have different wineries from all over the place. It's like huge. And I think it's like either $15 to get in and you can sample all the wines.
So it's like a flat fee and then you go in there and you can just have as much as you want.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's why Laura's going to be I don't drink anymore, but
I know I was gonna say, how is that gonna work with you?
I'll find something to drink. I'm sure I don't know. We'll get to that point when that comes.
So a true wine connoisseur who tastes wine, they actually, like when I went wine tasting with a past coworker of mine for his birthday. That's what he wanted to do. And I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. I never did it before. And we went, his dad picked us up. It was me, him, his fiance, and his friend, and his dad. Mm-hmm. And his dad was the driver, and we went to Seneca Lake.
Okay.
Up and down Seneca Lake. And it was just beautiful. And his dad knew where all the best, red wine. So his name's Dan. Both the dad and my coworker named Dan.
Yeah.
So him, Dan, and me all liked red wine. And his fiance and his friend kind of were like, didn't really like as much red wine. So we kind of knew where we wanted to go, and he kind of set us up. There was this one winery called Damiani's.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good red wine. And some of the places, though, Evan, they give you buckets because you're supposed to, like a true wine tasting, you just taste.
And then
you spit it out. I did not do that. Yeah. So I didn't eat anything. I was just drinking and not trying to get drunk. I wasn't trying to get drunk. I didn't set out to get drunk. But, dude, it hit me all at once. Like when we got back, I literally just like fell asleep in his basement couch. Woke up. I went through the entire stages of grief of drinking.
Okay.
So like hangover and headache, and then I just had a cup of coffee and I drove home. But yeah, so. Gonna take my time tomorrow and not go through that again. But
oh yeah, I mean, because I don't want to carry you all the way to where my girlfriend has to get picked up. But no, I mean, the last time I was at the Grape Festival, it was me and my girlfriend Laura, and we went to the wine tasting area, mm-hmm. and we're like, oh wait, I like this one, I like this one, I like this one. We ended up buying like 8 bottles of wine. And so we got home and we're like, oh, we'll pop open one. One led to 2. 2 led to 3. Though I didn't have to work the next day, but my girlfriend did. And she works, she she's now one of the high ends of the environmental services. She manages all the people, but she had to work the ED at the time, the emergency room, cleaning and shit. And she ran into my mom because my grandma was there. She's like, "Oh, hey, Laura." And she was so fucking hungover. So hungover. And so she's like, like, you know, like, "Oh, hey, Mrs. Bogart." And she just, it was, that whole shift was miserable. But I stayed home. I slept on the couch and, you know, recovered from home. But yeah, after that, I never drank wine again. That, and there was another time where I had, what is it called? Hard cider. That I can't drink anymore because I drank a pitcher of that at a bar once because someone didn't want the pitcher. So they're like, "Hey, I'll sell this to you half off." I'm like, "Hell yeah." So I ended up drinking the whole thing. So
yeah, I severely miscalculated how, like, I wasn't out. Like I said, I wasn't out to get drunk, but I severely miscalculated.
Yeah.
How much I was actually consuming, because I wasn't spitting it out. I was like, I was sipping it, and, you know, I like to drink the wine, so I was just consuming it. But but out of all the places we went to, only like 2 gave us actual buckets, which was kind of funny. So, and they weren't that,
yeah. Well, you're young, and you'll like.
This was like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that would be 21. You were in 21, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
22.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I learned very young not to go really overboard because the next day would be horrible. You would get nothing done. But I didn't learn that lesson. I kept on drinking, even though I don't know if I want to say if I was an alcoholic, but like, I just went overboard every time I drank. Like, I didn't have a limit, you know? So, but we're going into dark territory. But, yeah. So, yeah, Nick also came up to me and he was like, "Hey, man, you know, anything I could do for the podcast, let me do it." And I'm like, "Well, we need someone to do social media because I don't have the time, because I got to edit. I got to the website and stuff like that. And I'm working on a new radio station." And so Nick came up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, anything I could do, I can help out." I'm like, "Yep." So we're working on the social media part right now.
Yeah.
I want to do multiple things like TikTok and Instagram and
all the Zoomer stuff.
Yeah. What the kids all the kids are into these days.
What the kids are into.
But, yeah. So
that'll be fun. Yeah. I'm studying for school. I'm studying business administration with marketing is my concentration, because I would like to go into the music business somehow. Maybe work at a record station or start my own record company, I should say, not station. And, but yeah, you know, I like Evan. I like his he's got a passion for doing this, and I resonate with that because I'm very passionate about a lot of things. So I was like, you know, I do feel like I'm pestering him though a lot, but like, yo, let me get on the podcast. Yo, let me do this. Let me do that.
There's some people at work that want to be on the podcast.
That you just like, no.
I don't have the patience for some people. And some of the people we work with, I really don't have the patience. Like, they'll probably start the podcast and be like, go like a million miles, like talking about something else. And I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, I mean, I've learned, and you'll learn too, the longer you work there, how to interact with everybody. Everyone's different. Everyone's got different quirks and stuff, and you just got to play the cards that they're dealing you.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I get by.
Yeah. I've had a lot of jobs where I'm becoming more and more like my dad. It just, the littlest things will irritate me. Like, before, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like, okay, well, if you want to do something, but I'm becoming more and more like my dad, and he doesn't have the patience for anyone. He never had the patience for my friends growing up, because he would just be like, I'm just friends with your friends because they're your friends. And he's a mean old man. Yeah. My dad's a mean old man.
Bogart.
Old man Bogart's a mean old man. But, you know, and me and my dad never really saw eye to eye when I was probably your age. But now I talk to him once in a while. He's getting up in the age. He still works though. He's a warehouse manager. And
nice.
He can keep up with the young guns.
We got a guy like that where we work too.
Yeah.
He's just.
But that guy irritates me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I admire his work ethic and his drive, but I'm just like. I could not do it at that job. I couldn't apply myself like that at that job.
Well, you told me he always takes the day like it's the Super Bowl. I remember you saying that to me, and I started laughing like midway through my shift. I'm like, yeah, this guy really does think he's in the Super Bowl. Like he thinks like if we don't make enough orders, we'll go out of business. And that's not true. I mean, we'll still be open, you know, but
it's not a problem until like, you know, you start the more harder you want to work, the faster you go. And then especially in our line of work that we're doing right now, the faster you go, more mistakes can happen.
Yeah.
And it's not worth the mistakes because then you're taking more time. It's like you're doing twice as less because now you're not doing an order and you got to fix the current order you got. So I would just, you know, I've learned to just pace myself no matter what anyone else is doing because especially on our side or your guys' side, because I might be doing the other side for the holiday season, but on the side that does all the big lifting, you know, you can tire yourself out. I mean, there was this kid here.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. Yeah, this is a good story.
The kid, he used to work on the other side, and he came over here for like one day, and he had the same kind of complex as the other coworker that we work with, where it's just like, I think his intentions were good. You know, he wanted to just get the stuff done and help us out, but he was going really fast, mile in a minute, like 100 miles an hour, and he got tired within like 10 minutes, and he was like drenched in sweat and like he was super tired.
He went over his limit. Basically.
And we were just like looking at him like, yeah, man, we told you, dude, you got to pace yourself over here, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, the first week I was there. Well, the first day I brought soda and I was like, I'll be fine, you know. And they were like, you're crazy. Like, you need to bring like water, like a big thing of water.
You just bought soda that one the first day?
Yeah, the first day. I brought 2 Baja Blasts with me. And I was like, I got to bring water because I'm going to die. Because it's like when in the warehouse, it's like, it will be like 90 degrees outside. It'll be like 100 in the warehouse.
It's like a 10-degree increase instantly when you walk through those doors.
Yeah.
In the hot air, it feels like. But yeah, in the summer it sucks, man. It's hard.
Yeah. But now we're kind of getting into the fall.
This is like the most temperate time. And then it's a very short period of temperate weather. And then it's going to get right into like freezing snow. And
does it get really cold?
It's pretty cold in there.
Yeah.
When it gets cold, it's cold. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
A lot of metal. So a lot of cold air going through. Yeah. Cement floors. So, yeah, nothing insulates the heat very well in that place. Mm-hmm. But I think they put the heat on, which does a little help. But
do they actually have heat?
I've been told. I've been told they have heat and air, and I don't know if they have either one of those things are true. So.
Yeah, I don't. Because if you look in the break room, you don't really chill out in the break room.
That room's way too small for me to chill out in there. I can't chill out in that.
They have a vent on top of the break room. And, I mean, I guess they have heat. I don't know. I mean, but you know what? They're moving the warehouse, right?
So there's talks of that. There is on the road leading up to kind of where we go, there is a FedEx facility. Mm-hmm. And then right across from there, they've been breaking ground and building what is going to be essentially another warehouse for us to get in there. And that way we'll have the unloading and loading side on the same area. So, yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you a little story about where I worked probably back in 2011. It was this company called IEC.
Yep.
And they build like wiring and stuff like that for like military stuff. And so it was the best job ever. All I did was sit down all day and literally just go like this. Boop. Next one. Boop. Just all day, just testing wires to make sure they have a kind of a connection.
Yeah.
Like an electric connection. But then, because they were located up in, located up in Victor at I call it the Silicon Valley of Victor.
Okay.
Because it's just all technology stuff. It's right next to the Flick, where the Flick building is, up in Victor there. Yeah. Wow. All those businesses around there are all technology. Everything, all of it. And so I was making mad money. I was doing everything right. And then they're like, oh, we're moving our operations to Newark. I'm like, fuck. I mean, I don't have a car, and I was dating a girl at the time that was not very nice. She was mean. And so we broke up. I got her the job at IEC. I got her the job there. And then all she did all day was watch movies on her phone, and she got caught. And so they kept her on. And then one day we broke up and we still worked together there. Man. But then I heard she got fired. And I was like, yes. But then that right shortly after we moved to Newark. And so, but yes, I've had so many jobs. I was a manager at Burger King once. That was not fun. And, what was your past jobs?
My past jobs. Worked right before this, I worked at a auto parts, secondhand auto parts store that, took apart vehicles and cleaned up the engines and transmissions and sold them again.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And my job was to kind of take the engines, band them to the pallet, take a picture of it, wash them off, put them on the shelf with like a little electric forklift. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Very, very loud environment though, and very, very dirty environment. And
yeah,
so it was kind of like an assembly line almost, where it started with they were called dismantlers, and that's where my friend Dan worked.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best dismantlers in the company. He's really, 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 really smart when it comes to cars and everything. He can take apart a car, put it back together with his eyes closed. He's that good. And so they just take all the engines and all the transmissions out of the car, and they are paid by speed.
Okay.
So how many cars they can get done in a day. So it's like, so the focus is kind of on the speed, not on the efficacy or the efficiency of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of got to the point where it was like, kind of bothered me a little bit, but
yeah,
I left because I wanted to get some, like, I was in the middle of transitioning into school. I didn't know how that was going to work. They only had like a lot of morning stuff, and at the time my school was in the morning. So, but yeah, before that, I worked at the Country Max store in Fairport, and
that's where the stories start of me and Nick.
That's where the stories start. I don't know how much I want to say, but like I got a lot of stories. My manager, the manager that hired me, and the co-manager both quit before me. So they got a new manager in there, and he was around my age. He was like 23, 24. I was like 19, 20, 21 at the time. So everybody in that store was like in their 20s, besides this older woman who worked in the garden section. She was like in her 50s, 60s. I loved her. She was awesome. She spoke her mind, didn't care what anyone thought about it. But yeah, everybody there was like in our 20s. So we just
goofed around.
I'm not going to say goofed around, but like we were in our 20s. So just picture that kind of environment. But it was really cool. My boss at the time, he respected me and I respected him because, we could joke around with each other and make jokes, which I've never done with any boss. But at the same time, we could get stuff done done and got stuff done. And that was, so I think he respected me for that, and I respected him for that. There's this older woman who like would order one big load of like 100 bags of cracked corn, 50 bags of the egg layer pellet.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we did as like a service is we would load that into a pickup truck and we would drive it to her house, and she wasn't there, and we would just unload it into her garage. So me and the boss would take part of the day and go and unload this, and we would listen to some music, just throwing bags in her garage, and it was just like an experience that I've never had at a job before.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the store, and then
yeah.
Before that was just mini jobs at like pizza shops, and I worked at a golf course when I was 16. That was really, really fun.
Yeah.
I'm a big golfer, so I love.
Yeah. Like I played one game of golf, but I didn't really take it serious. It was my friend. I call him Ricky Bobby because everyone called him Ricky Bobby. Yeah. So he took me out to the golf course. There's a golf course where I live now, right here. Right down the road, there's a Bloomfield golf course. I don't know what it's called, but
I thought it was Victor Hills.
Oh, maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Victor Hills. Is
oh no. Victor Hills is a little bit down the road, a little bit farther. But there's one literally like if you go down the street and there's an intersection to the left. It's like it's on Fountain Hill Road, I think it's called. But there is a golf course there. It's like a really small golf course. But I went golfing there, and we just smuggled beers into I don't know. We were just like,
yeah.
I hit the golf ball, and it went like probably like 10 feet because I don't know how to play golf. So
I gotta get you out there. I gotta teach you. I gotta learn you some golf.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I like driving it. I
think everybody does, right?
Just rail it and see how far it gets. There was a spot. We might have to shut the doors. They're getting bad. But there was a look on Ontario County Park. We'll drive by it when we go down to the Naples Great Festival, and I'll show you. But there's this lookout where you can look out like for miles, and there's this road down, and we used to drive and try to get it near the road. we weren't even you're not supposed to like do that because it's like a park.
Yeah.
But we just railed them and see how far we can get it. But I don't know. But I got a story about that park too. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Do you want to take a break, or you want to just get rail?
You can take a break if you want.
I don't know if we could power through this if you want. I don't care.
I don't know if you want to shut the doors or whatever.
Oh yeah. So we'll take a break. When we come back, I'll talk more with Nicholas.
Nicholas Bogart.
Nicholas. Well, I call you Nicholas Bogart because I think we were just joking around, and I was like, yeah, I think I could be your dad, dude. and then it spiraled out of control, and now I call
out of control. I'm very much in control of it, but I just let it happen.
Yeah. Still. But all right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, I'll talk more with Nick. And we're back. So yeah, I was showing Nick my hood where I
the neighborhood.
Well, we don't go to the back of the park. Nope.
The back of the park.
Yeah, this whole park, like if you keep going down, there's probably like a good 50 trailers. So, but we don't go down that way. Nope. It's bad neighborhood.
Gotcha.
I like the front of the park because we're just right by the road, and I mean, everyone keeps themselves in the front of the park, but in the back of the park, it's like a whole new world, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a third world country back there. It's crazy.
A third world trailer park.
Yeah, it's about a third world trailer park, my friend. And, when I was looking for a place to live back in the day, and I didn't really want to get in. I came into a lot of money. I had a big promotion at work. I did like these ads for Asian Air. I think I showed you. Got a big thing for it. Big check. And so I was like, well, I could buy a house, but then I had to pay state taxes. So I'm just trying to think. I'm like, why not buy a trailer? Just see what they offer. So the park that owned this before Cook's property was AGL. And so they had a trailer sale, and they're like, hey, we'll get you into a trailer. We'll cut off about $3,000 of it. And I was like, okay. And so we saw this trailer and we're like, yeah, we got to get it. Like we have to get it because this trailer, it's probably one of the nicest ones in the park.
Like, oh yeah.
It has actual siding on it because if you look to the right of like where we're sitting to that trailer, it has no siding. Yeah. Like it's just
trailer,
a fucking sheet of metal. And mine has siding and everything. So, but what do you down the road, do you think about getting a house?
I'd love to. It's a goal of mine. Obviously I want to get a house, but I don't know, man. It's like,
I mean, your age. Yeah. I mean,
I'm a very peculiar person when it comes to how I live. And so like, that's why, I just couldn't do the dorm stuff. So my parents were fortunate enough to let me stay there while I'm doing college and doing school because.
Was it just like, if you're not going to school, you can't stay here. If you're going to school, you can stay here?
Yes.
Yeah. Because my parents, I mean, they were like, you got to work or you can't stay here. And I was like,
and it was also like, you either have to go to school or you have to work full time. And I was like, well, I don't want to work a minimum wage job full time. I want to you want to get an education and at the same time make some money. And, it sucks. It sucks getting old, man. Don't get old. Just don't get old. Like it sucks. Like, okay, I won't. Now that you said that, I won't.
The bills rack up. It's crazy. Like, I was just talking to you outside about the street or like services I use. Like, I have to go through them and see which ones I use. I think I pay like Microsoft Word and I haven't even opened it. Like
typing up your cookbook recipes and you're journaling your thoughts in Microsoft Word for $10 a month.
Yeah. I mean, it's like $7 a month. And I probably used it once to make my job resume my school gives us a Microsoft suite. So if you ever needed to use Microsoft, I'll give you my account. Yeah.
My school account.
Just
don't delete my essays because then I'll have to.
Well, no, I mean, my girlfriend she's going to school and she has like, what should we call it? She has a deal where they get like Microsoft and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about just if I need to use Microsoft, I'll just.
Does she still have to pay for some of it though?
Like from
because my school completely it's part of tuition because it did just give us.
I'm not really
all
sure.
of Microsoft's offerings for whatever we pay for tuition.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I only know a little bit about her schoolwork because I just kind of, she's going to school, whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna ask her a million questions. Be like, hey, what are you doing in this? What are you doing with that? She goes to school. So
I mean, it's nice to show interest here and there every once in a while.
True, but I mean,
yeah, I get
like she's reading this book now. She's going for early childhood education.
Yeah.
And she's reading this book about sad stories about kids like are bullying and like this one kid, there's a story in the book. This is crazy. Basically tied a kid to a tree and set the kid on fire. Oh, and this was a true story. Like, and I'm like
what time period are we talking about?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's really recently. I mean, not recently. Well, they wrote a book and put a bunch of stories in it. So it happened in the past. Even like it's the most craziest thing. I mean, she was reading some of it to me and I'm like, oh man, why are you reading this? Why are they teaching you this? But you have to learn psychology of the children and stuff like that. So it's just some of the stories. It's crazy. I mean, I should show you that book, and you read.
What is the title of that book?
I don't
Like
know.
what
I don't even know.
what pretext is she reading it for? Is it like a textbook?
It's like actually, it's not a textbook. It's like an actual book.
Like a novel? Or like a historical accounting of something?
Yeah. Stuff like that. But they have to read it for school. So
interesting. What class is it for again? I'm sorry.
Early childhood education.
That's what it's for the class?
Yeah. Well, I don't know the Pacific class, but yeah, it's the most craziest thing. And she cries sometimes reading these stories. And I'm like, just cliff note it and just get on with your life. Just
man, if you're not crying, are you going to school?
Yeah, that's true.
I think everybody's shed some tears in college.
Yeah.
High school, college.
Yeah. Because when I was in high school, I learned my bad. I learned very quick that I didn't want to do schooling after college. Like I wanted to join the workforce. But then I kind of matured and be like, yeah, I'll take some courses. I took courses at Flick for accounting. That sucked.
Yeah.
The accounting really sucks.
It's so boring, dude. I had accounting recently, and it's super boring, man.
Yeah. But and then what other classes I take? Oh, then I kind of got interested in all this stuff.
The technology kind of stuff?
Yeah, like editing and advertising and like all that. When I went to MCC because I lived in Rochester for a summer, we rented a house. It was basically a frat house. It was crazy. We had people every night we partied in Rochester. It was off Vermont Street in Culver. And we partied every night. I was a manager at Burger King, and I had people that were working that were 21 and over. So we had them buy beer for us, and then we partied all night.
Wait a minute. So the manager of Burger King is asking his subordinates who are older than him to get beer to come to the manager's party at the manager's place.
Yep.
It's wild. It's a wild equation there.
Yeah. So, and then because a lot of the Burger King people didn't have cars, they would take the bus in and then get dropped off, and then they'll work. So I was like, hey, I'll give you a ride home, but you got to pick me up a 30 rack of beer.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. I'll get a free ride home, So, yeah. And yeah, so
you bamboozled those poor souls.
I gave him a ride home, I mean, it's not like, I was like, either you buy me a 30 rack or you're fired. So, but yeah, so, I mean, it was a interesting time in my life. I learned a lot in that Burger King, like business and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think people don't like understand or appreciate that when you're in like a manager position of any kind, whether it's Burger King or an insurance company, you'll learn a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
stuff that you just can't really learn in a textbook at school.
Yeah.
So you gotta be boots on the ground in the actual situation.
Yeah. They, in high school because they knew I wasn't going to go to college. They were just like, well, this kid is not going to barely pass high school. So they put me in these classes called Real World, and they taught you how to like balance a checkbook, how to basically budget your money. So when you get to the real world, you'll have that knowledge. And
the class is called Real World.
It was like real world math, real world reading, real world. It was just like these made up classes they made for like these people that you knew weren't going to be.
Hey, man, it sounds like classes that should be thrown in high school curriculums, man.
Oh yeah. Like totally. Like high school kids these days, they can't even work an 8-hour shift before they like, have you seen that? I wish I could pull it up, but it's like this kid working at Starbucks. He's like crying behind the counter. He's like, oh,
I think I've heard of it or seen it.
Yeah. It's like kids these days don't know how to work ethic. They just don't know how to do it. They pampered all their life. They're pampered and they don't know, I don't know. They don't know how to work. They really don't. And that's why our economy is like You got social media and everyone wants to be a social media star. And it's like, dude, that's only like if you looked at a pie chart and social media influencers, yeah, they're like a very niche of.
I am proud to say that I am somebody who is not influenced by any social media presence.
Yeah.
I'm not influenced.
Yeah. And
so,
well, I mean, you're influenced of doing social media for the Bogart podcast.
No, I'm saying like influencers are not influencing me to do anything other than get off of social media because I don't want to see them.
Yeah. But lately, I've been just, when I do watch like reels on Instagram, I'll watch it for a good 10 minutes and I'm like, I could have spent that 10 minutes.
Dude, that's 10 more minutes than I could probably last on TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And then there was this one TikTok I watched. It was like this dog that like had a hard life, and I have 2 dogs. So it made me emotional. I was like, man, these dogs have a good life, So, but yeah, it's just, I see stuff like that and I'm like, oh, why do I even watch it? Like, why do I spend my time watching?
Yeah, I think it's, in terms of like the kids and stuff. I mean, it is my generation and I've definitely had my fair share of feeling like this, but I think we live in a consumer culture where it's like everything is designed for you to just keep taking and taking and get that instant gratification, whether it's video games, social media, TV shows. And when they step on the real world and they got to actually put effort into getting something back, like a paycheck, they're just so not accustomed to it because they spend a lot of time on their phones, on the video games, just like not working a whole lot hard for like things that are good for them. Like I found that, the best things in life are the things that you have to put a lot of effort towards or work hard towards. That mean that return on your investment is so much more beneficial to you as a person than just scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through, your Netflix shows. And so, yeah, I think all my generation and the generation before me, which is even more suffocated by this kind of stuff, is going to have a really hard awakening soon.
It's crazy. This is a little bit off topic, but it talks about work. There was a TikTok I watched. It was people in the construction industry. A lot of them are retiring, but not enough are starting in the field. So it's soon going to be really bad because all these people that are retiring,
jobs aren't getting filled back up.
Yeah, they're not getting, these construction workers aren't filling back up, and we're going to be effed. We are going to be it'll be bad. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah. So you got any, we went through the Naples Grape Festival. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on AI?
Well, I lost my job because of it.
Yeah, I know. You've told me that story.
Yeah, it can be beneficial, for AI technology.
Do you really think so?
Yes, I do. Like in the medical field, if a doctor's not there to treat a patient, you have AI there to be like, hey, okay, well, this could be the scenario. Oh, we froze. Uh-oh. Oh, we're good. Okay. So yeah, AI technology, right? Mm-hmm. Like if a patient's having like an allergic reaction and they can't get a doctor there soon enough, they could type in a computer the symptoms and then be like, this is a way to treat them. I think that's a good way to use AI, but we have idiots using AI to hack into like, I think it was the MGM Grant in Vegas, use of AI technology to pretend to be one of the owners of
like a deep fake, right?
Yeah,
like a deep fake the voice and the likeness of somebody.
Said that he forgot his password and needed to be reset. So these hackers hacked into MGM and shut the whole fucking place down. They actually first they had a ransom, right?
Right.
And
gotta have the ransom.
And all these other casinos paid the ransom. They're like, okay, we're not gonna mess around with this. And then MGM Grant was like, never mind, we ain't gonna pay you. And so they got hacked. $1 billion business went to poop in literally 5 minutes.
Was this recent?
Yep.
Wow.
People couldn't get into the hotel rooms. They couldn't use casino part, like the slot machines and all that. It was all shut down. So you got to think about it. Tourism that goes there spends a lot of money there. You got big fights, all that shut down just because they didn't want to pay like $1 million. $1 million to them is like nothing
versus $1 billion loss.
Yeah. MGM is, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, it was crazy. Like, it's like, and then the other thing too about hacking is like the Facebook hacking. My girlfriend's sister had her Facebook hacked and started posting half naked women on her page and stuff like that. And we're like, what's going on? Like, I don't think she's posting this because it was just like these big half naked women and stuff like that. And we're like, what is going on? And so her ex-husband was like, hey, who are you? And we'll pay you as much money as you want to get my, my ex-wife's account back. And he's like, he showed him an amount and they're like, just start a new Facebook page. Yeah,
like, why would you even contact somebody who's just hacking if you just get a new Facebook?
I don't know what this is. I think they were trying to get wedding photos because they had all their wedding photos on there. So
they didn't have them backed up somewhere?
I don't think they did. I'm not really 100% sure, but there are some times when people message me on Facebook and they'll be like, hey, some of them are girls, but you could tell they're bots.
The bots. Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, I saw you're interesting and stuff like that. I'm like, no one thinks I'm interesting. And so they'll start asking me where I work and stuff like that. They'll be like, oh, where do you work? How old are you? It's like, dude, you're a bot. You're just trying to get all the information so you can call my credit card company.
Literally back when I had Snapchat, random people would add me and I would add them back just for the fun of it. And just bots looking for content.
All right, we're back. I had to take the dogs, their leashes, or not leashes, but chains that keep them in our yard, get tangled up sometimes. And I forgot to undo it, and so I had to do it real quick. But I don't even know what we were talking about.
We were talking about
AI.
Bots and AI. And then you got called by a bot, which turned out to not be a bot. Because it came up restricted.
Oh, yeah.
And I said it's a bot.
Oh, no, yeah. Because when you use the Google, right? Like you'd be like, hey, Google, call someone. And then they'll be like, who you want to call? And then call Evan. So, and then it comes up restricted, even.
Who's going to answer if something comes up restricted?
I don't know. Yeah. And the first time I got a phone call from the Google, it said restricted. I'm like, oh, great. The cops, like something's going on, because every time you get a phone call from the cops, it's restricted. Well, I don't know if it's all the time, but yeah, so I get the call and it's my girlfriend, Laura. The dogs puked in the bedroom and I had to clean it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, they don't puke all the time, but when they do, they puke. So, but yeah, like bots, I've had my fair share of them, but I don't know. So I pulled up.
Oh, I wanted to give a story about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if you heard this. So we're talking about AI.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story about this artist on Twitter, I think. Mm-hmm. Some artist on Twitter there's like this AI software that would make images for you.
Okay.
So you give it a prompt and it would spit back an art image of something. And so she, I think it was a girl. She put in this picture of Marlon Brando and wanted a reverse image of that. And somehow it gave back this weird looking city with the words Digita Pintix PNTICS, like just digitapintics. And so the artist was like, it's weird. Let me do the reverse of that, thinking it would just be Marlon Brando again.
Mm-hmm.
And it came back this grotesque looking woman.
Oh yeah.
You heard this story?
I've heard stories like it, but
and it had like the word lobe on it, and people were calling it like a demon that was born in AI because it was like it was just this weird algorithm or something that set off a chain where it's like it couldn't give the reverse of digitapintics back to Marlon Brando, so it gave this weird looking woman that just looked so like unsettling, just very unsettling. And I was like, when I read that story, I was really scared because I used to just, when I was younger, just dive into the internet. And it's like, that's something I would do.
Yeah.
I would just be up at night and just like look up how to summon a demon in my phone when I was an idiot kid. But like these people are just doing it by accident. Like it was just really weird. And it was kind of creepy, but yeah, it's just like AI, man. Nobody knows what's going on inside of it. And we're being the guinea pigs to ourselves.
Have you ever seen Terminator?
Yeah. I think I've seen all of them.
Isn't that like I've
Skynet, you mean?
I've watched like a clip of it. I've never seen it.
So
I know the storyline to it,
yeah.
but I just don't know. I've never watched it.
You know, Skynet is like the big corporation. That's the AI thing.
Oh yeah.
It's called Skynet.
Yeah.
And it sends out the Terminator too.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that will be us?
Dude, I really hope not, man.
That would be very scary.
We need to just put a stop to AI right now. Like just pause it for people are losing jobs to AI, man. People are getting information leaked. You have an Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft had a huge leak of like 5 terabytes of conversations and documents of internal business procedures leaked by their AI team by accident. The AI department was doing something, and all of a sudden, now all this information has been leaked about their business practices and their potential acquisitions, talking about going after Nintendo and trying to buy Nintendo, and just like, dude, like,
yeah,
I'm on the side of like, is the benefits to AI right now worth all of these negatives that we're seeing? And my answer is no. It's just not. It's not worth it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe down the line, years down the line, when we put in enough, you know, good procedures and practices in place to get it to be where it's like the negatives aren't as obtrusive to human life.
Yeah.
Then yeah, maybe. But you know, people are losing jobs. I'm going into the world of business with my degree, and I'm literally reading in one of my textbooks that 25%, they estimate 25% of most jobs will be automated by AI. And you have your story that you...
Yeah, I lost my job, basically. You can put in a sentence of what you want and then have an advertisement of, you know, just have an ad. Like, let's say peanuts, a guy holding a peanut, right? In a sentence about that, AI will come up with a beautiful image of a guy holding a peanut.
And that's taken away revenue from an artist who actually would put their heart and soul into making something look like that.
Yeah.
This AI program just surfs the internet. But yeah, I mean, AI art, it'll never have that human.
No,
it'll never have the human aspect, man. It'll never experience human emotions. And so it's just looking at a piece of art that's too perfect is just, for me, it's never been like, it looks stupid. Like I want to see some of the imperfections of human touch in art, but it's just...
When I was scrolling through Facebook, there was a guy that was like, "Oh, I put in if Buffalo Bills won the Super Bowl," and it was just a riot of people starting fires and stuff like that. And it was typical.
Not far off, probably.
No, not far off at all. So, but
I bet we know somebody who'd be in that riot.
Yeah.
I passed a house on the way here that was literally painted all blue with
the Buffalo Bills house.
The Bills house, you know it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They did a commercial there for Buffalo Bills and Pepsi. They did a commercial.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like,
that commercial with like they're going to all these different, like, was it Pepsi or was it? I thought it was.
No, it was Pepsi, because it was a guy. They were like the house next door was a Jets fan. If you drive up there and it's a greenhouse right next to it. He's a Jets fan.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
So they did a Super Bowl commercial where it's like, oh, the rival house lives right next door. And then like this parade and they shut down the street for this commercial. It was like,
when was this?
Like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. They literally shut down this and like, old Buffalo Bills players came and stuff like that. I had Lucy at the time. And we walked down and yeah, so I don't know. And
Must have been fun.
The screen is frozen again. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's frozen. So I don't know. This yellow box sucks. I don't even know. And it was expensive too.
Jeez, you take it to the old Best Buy and be like, this is not working.
Well, yeah, you told me the story about how you wanted to return your microphone. And I was like, just go to Best Buy. Just say you got it at Best Buy and you just want a gift card.
Just lie right to their face.
It's not, I mean, they resell it. So, I mean.
It's literally in mint condition. I've never opened it. It's from Amazon. But
yeah.
I want the cash back. But
yeah,
at this point, I might just use it for something.
Yeah. If we start doing this remotely when it gets to the winter, you might need that microphone.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. All right, I got this video of this people.
Let's see it.
That it's a gang in London, I think, or England. I don't know, one of the European countries. But basically, yeah, this is crazy. I'll show you the vid.
Despite these assurances, Hira says it's no surprise he still feels unsafe.
And the yellow box isn't going to work. I don't know why. Oh, basically, okay. I'll sum it up. So basically, these people in I think it's in England.
Gangs on London streets.
Here we go. Okay, so basically, the lady said they go around and just like cause mayhem. There's these scooter people or mopeds or whatever you want to call them, and they go and rob people. Like they have a big problem with this right now.
Jeez.
It's the craziest thing ever. Like they'll basically, if they'll do is if you have a cell phone, right, you're using it next to the sidewalk,
just come up and take it,
yank it, drive away. They'll go to stores, do smash and grabs. They'll go to people's cars, like see right here. They'll go try to steal. They don't care. They'll yank. There you go. So yeah,
dude. After like the second or third time this happens, word's got to get around wherever this is going. Word's got to get out. Hey, look out for the moped people, man.
Yeah, but they really can't do anything because there's so many of them. It's like a swarm of them. Like they'll be like one cop. There'll be 10 of them. And then the cop really can't do anything. I mean, unless you shoot them. But I think I don't know if this is true, but in England, officers can't carry guns. They can carry tasers, but they don't carry guns.
This is why this crap happens, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and I ride my electric bike, and I should just start a gang. Just start a.
The Bloomfield Cruisers.
Yeah, that is, this is there's really nothing you can rob.
SpongeBob episode, the mild ones. That's the mild ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but you know what? A lot of people around here don't have that kind of cash to buy scooters. So I'm lucky enough to even, I mean, I bought my electric bike right before I started working at Country Max. I bought it because my girlfriend goes into work around, I think she gets up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, has to be at work by 6. So she has to get ready and stuff like that. And I get up at like 6:20, 6 o'clock. I get up, get ready to go, get the dogs out, get them, go to the bathroom, come back. And I like my bike, but in how cold it is lately, it sucks. I mean, my hands the other day, I was like, I don't need gloves. I'll go in. It was like 40, I think 43 degrees outside, and I'm cruising. I'm going like 32 miles an hour. My hands were frozen by the time I got to work. I literally just threw everything on the ground, walked into work, put the hot water, and soaked my hands for a good 10 minutes. Yikes. And it was.
Yeah, that wind hits you, man, when you're on that thing probably.
Yeah, and it, and then I want to do on the bike too. They have a white. I've looked on YouTube how to get rid of the because in California you can only have a class 3 is the highest you can go on an e-bike, and that my bike's from California, so it can only go up to 32 is the max. But I looked on YouTube to see if I can cut any wires so that restriction goes away, so you can just go 60 on it. So
the restriction is bound to just like a set of wires and just cut them. You're good.
Yeah, nice. And then but I'm too afraid if I cut the wrong wire,
you'll blow up like in the movies.
No, not like that.
James Bond.
It will be. It will ruin the bike.
Yeah,
like it would just wouldn't start. It won't start or anything. I'm worried about that.
Like don't cut the red wire.
Yeah, it's just don't cut any wires. Just
take the 32 and deal
32.
With it.
It's pretty fast.
Deal with the cold hands.
Yeah. So, but imagine if I was going 60.
So you want your hands to just freeze off.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, basically. So, but yeah. And then I showed you a video of a bike that went like 75 miles an hour in the desert, but it's 10 grand. Like I was like, but with my situation now, I better just stick.
I could just picture the commercial. It says, don't try this at home. Like, only try this in the desert.
Yeah.
Only go 70 in the desert.
70 in the desert. But yeah, I mean, my situation, it's a long story about getting my license back. Basically, there's fines I still have to pay, which I thought I paid them all off. And like, there was open suspension at one, there still an open suspension or something like that, something crazy. So even if I got my license back, it would be like it would be a lot for the insurance. Like It would just be like basically my whole check going to insurance, and so it's just like, why bother? There's services like the bus, you pay $5, you can go anywhere in Ontario County. Why? And with that $5, I could go all the way down to Naples Grape Festival if I wanted to for $5.
You get back on the bus, 2 hands full of wine bottles.
Yeah, I don't think they would appreciate that.
There goes your first and final warning.
Yeah. Well, I'm on their list now of.
You're almost on the blacklist.
I'm on the blacklist of the
near blacklist.
RTS bus. That's what they're called. And I literally, they said they showed up and no one was there. And I was like, I always cancel my rides when I don't need a ride.
I can literally vouch for that.
Yeah. And so they're like, yeah, they showed up a bunch of times. You weren't there. I think what happened is when I called to cancel, they only canceled for the day because I said I wanted to cancel the rest of the week. And they thought maybe that just that day. So they schedule all the buses to go out to go get me. And it's just, it's not fun, man. It's not fun. But, and my neighbor sometimes gives me a ride sometimes in.
This guy right here?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Cause I used to cut his lawn before I had someone cut my own lawn now. Cause I would go out there and mow his side. And then I would mow my side while I was at it. But then I was like, you know what? This guy wanted to do it for like $25. I'm like, you can do it. I don't want to do it anymore. Like $25 is not that big of a deal. He does a good job too. So
that's good.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else you want to talk about. You got anything you want to spit?
You stole my second topic, my first topic, which was the Grape Festival. But
yeah. Well, I'll have to take you around. I'll have to take you to. There's a couple spots that, like, we're getting dropped off at the winery, That's where we're going to get dropped off. And then there's a huge tent there where they just serve their wine. But if you go further
what's their wine mean?
Like the winery there, I think. I forgot.
So there's a winery there at the festival.
There's a huge, in Naples, there's a huge winery.
And then all these other wineries come from out of state?
They come, some of them come out of state, some of them in state.
Just out of the county?
Yeah, and there's like two different areas. There's the winery part where the Naples winery there, and then they have the outsiders come in. So there's two big wine tents. It's crazy.
The flat free gets you in both of those?
No, one's free. One's free.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Free tasting?
No free tasting, though.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. That one, you have to buy per drink. You can buy like a big glass of wine if you want. And the other tent is the wine tasting tent.
Tasting, yeah.
And you pay like a flat fee and you can taste all the wine you want. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, now it's more, a lot of people go to it now. Before it wasn't really.
I've always kind of heard of it, but I never went or never had anybody go with me.
Yeah.
No reason to go.
Yeah. I'll show you around.
Yeah. Now it'll be cool.
Yeah. I will show you the ropes of good old Naples. I'll show you where I'll take you around to where I did most of my trouble. Like,
oh, good. So we'll get caught there.
Yeah. Well, no.
I remember your face as he throws us out.
Yeah. We'll go stop at the Naples hotel. That's a big bar / like kind of shitty hotel. I guess it's really not that great.
2-star hotel.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I mean, I'll show you around, and it should be a fun time.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, it's gonna, and then you'll help me hand out stickers.
Yeah.
Well, I bought paper clips because I want to stick 2 stickers together and then hand them to people. And I got to do that. I'll probably do that in the morning tomorrow. I got a bunch of stickers made, and I'll show you after. There's some over there, but yeah,
You're not gonna give us any trouble for doing that?
I don't think so.
I hope not. I mean,
what are they gonna the what was it? The Naples elders will come after you and be like, "Hey, passing stickers out."
The Naples 9 will come after us.
Yeah,
just 9 people on horseback.
Yeah, really. But no, I mean they have like churches that hand out stuff and stuff like that. I don't think we'll be.
Pretty soon we should get like a booth, set up an actual Bogart podcast.
Right. So you want to hear about the story about that? So I posted something on the Naples Facebook page. I was like, hey, I need to set up a stand in like someone in Naples where I can, promote my show and stuff like that. And there's a couple of people. And then I talked to this one dude and I was like, hey, he said that I could do it. I could use his internet so we could do a show there at the Naples. It was going to be fantastic.
That would have been cool.
But then I found out this guy was a big druggie. Like he was huge into drugs and I was going to pay someone to let us do this at their yard. I was going to pay $200 and I was going to be like, hey, for the whole weekend, I'll be there promoting my show. But then like it just got sketchier and sketchier, these people. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to hand out stickers and
call it a day.
You
want to go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, because I don't want my shit getting stolen. Like that would be.
It was that bad?
Yeah. I mean, the one person we did talk to, I guess it was it was Dave's relative, somehow related. And I guess he's a big druggie. So I was like, I'd rather keep it safe, keep my equipment home.
Yeah.
And
it's an investment, man. A lot of this, you got a lot of nice mics and a mixer and a box, a MacBook, headphones, microphone. It's an investment, man.
Yeah, it is.
For that to be gone like that would suck.
Yeah, and I don't have insurance for all this stuff. I should probably get insurance for all this stuff, but it's just, it's a lot of money, and I don't want it to, like you said, like that be gone. That would really suck. So, I mean, I eventually want to make this my full-time job. make this. I do this like maybe 3 times a week, do podcasts and live off sponsors, but it's harder and harder and harder to get sponsors and stuff like that because the content we put out, there's so many podcasts,
which I've talked to you about. We've talked to you about the content kind of side, but
and there's not a lot of podcasts in this area alone, but there's a lot of good, other good podcasts in the area that get a lot of sponsors, like the M-Bomb Effect. They get a lot. Well, they don't have a lot of sponsors, but they have sponsors. Which is cool.
Any amount is a lot to us, right?
Yeah, any amount. Yeah. But they have sponsors, and I'm jealous. I'm that kind of jealous person that but it will come. It will come.
You should just reach out to the man and just ask him, how they do it. Like, just be like, hey man, I'm starting up. I got a podcast. Just take the humble route and see if they'll be like, okay, this is what I did. I did bing, bing, bing. This is how I got my podcast. Or do it silently. Like, just focus on what they're doing and what works for them, and model yourself after the stuff that's going on around you. And I think we'll get some sponsors at some point.
Yeah, I've done podcasting basically since 2009, some form of podcasting.
You are a seasoned veteran.
I am. I'm a seasoned veteran. We had a podcast called the Basement Podcast, but we never recorded from a basement. So I don't know. It's
kind of funny though. It's kind of quirky.
So we had that, and then I started a network called Beer Pirate Radio. Yeah. That's what I go under now for all my podcast stuff. But I did that with a high school friend, and I did it with a bunch of comedians. They did podcasts for the network. Then that was the time when I was not in the headspace, like right headspace. I was dealing with, the alcohol and the benzo use and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but now, I'm clear headed,
which is good. I admire that.
And, so I want to start the network back up again, Beer Pirate Radio. And I've been working on it every day. This is people outside. I've been working on it every day, a little bit, and stuff, and I want to make this work. So again, I'll have the podcast and the radio network.
So didn't we talk about the plan might have been to Beer Pirate Radio would be sort of like the production of all of these different podcasts and all the podcasts, like the Bogart podcast would be underneath that. Yeah. Get some other guys to do that.
Yeah. That's my goal with that
I think that's a good idea.
It's just to get all these people into this network. But the only problem with that though is these people I've talked to want some kind of money and it's like, it's the exposure. It
is, but you also, at the same time, you have to prove that you're actually exposing them. You know what I mean?
But
you got to come back to with like, we get this amount of monthly viewers, and we can guarantee you these many views.
Yeah.
That's what they want, those hard, solid numbers. But if you can't give them those, then they're probably going to be a lot more on the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the other thing too is that it's starting off. So it could be a fail and it could be a success. So I can't promise like 1 billion views, because I don't even know if we'll get 10 or we get 1,000, So it's kind of like a risk almost. Like I tell them, I'm like, well, it's not, it's the exposure you get. And, this thing could blow up where I could sell the radio, the station to a, like Sirius XM or sell it to them.
Yeah.
And my goal is to sell it to them and then be like, hey, part of this is that we still work with the radio station.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand what they would see as a downside to doing it. Like, it's just like, what's the down? They're not losing any money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. People around the world want to do things for money now. It's the new world. Either you would think back in the day, like you look back in the day, people do favors for people all the time. it was almost like bartering. Like they would, hey, I'll cut your grass and you could do something else.
It was just people had values and morals and
yeah. And now
like people were nice. They just did things for each other. And now, like you said, now everything's like, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Versus what can I do for you?
Yeah. And it's sad. It really is because I'm the kind of person, right, that will give my shirt off my back to someone because, I was raised like that. My dad raised me like that.
Which is good.
I lost some of those values around your age, Nick, but then I kind of gained them back, but yeah, so yeah, it's a whole new world. It's like that song, that stupid song that always plays with that Rich Men North of Richmond.
Rich Men North of Richmond.
We talked about this in the past podcast about that song. It's just, it has a great message. It does, but it's overplayed. It's way overplayed.
Yeah, man. I think it's just, I love the fact that like all these Billboard musicians spend like thousands of dollars on production and mixing and recording. And this guy with his one microphone and one guitar recorded a song, put it on YouTube. It's number one. It's like, what a slap in the, what a stick it to everybody.
He got like a $8 million contract, or he had presented to him an $8 million contract. He turned it down.
I did hear about that. I am in the music scene, but so on one hand, he's turned down the contract, but now he's doing shows, he's promoting his.
Oh yeah, he's making his money.
So he's saying no, he doesn't want to do it, but at the same time,
well, the record deals and stuff like that too. They they give you money, but they basically have the rights to all your songs.
So actually, what they do is, because I had to learn this when I was in FLCC, I did half of a music college course. The record company gives you money they pay for all of the production process of your songs. And in return, whatever that specific recording of the song, that record company owns. They own that recording of it. They don't own your lyrics, your arrangements, or your, like, how you piece the song together. But if you take their money and you go to a studio, a really high-end studio, which is the goal for the record company is to get the song to sound as professional as possible, they'll own that particular recording. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It's.
But you can go to another studio and record the song. They don't own it. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But there was this guy on Twitch. He was in a hard rock band called I think it was All That Remains. He was on Twitch and he was playing his band's song on Twitch and either like showing his viewers how to scream to it or how to play guitar. I forgot if it was the singer or the guitarist. But the record company came and struck down his Twitch.
Oh yeah,
for him playing the song. His own song.
Yeah. When I upload onto YouTube the show, I use the machinery, which is Nate's band, which is one of the co-hosts of the Bogart podcast, and I got a copyright thing. So they must have uploaded it to YouTube, the band did, and somehow put a copyright on it because I've used bands before and I never got a copyright. And with that, I didn't get a strike. It just says copyright on it.
Does he use DistroKid?
Oh, I don't know.
So some of the distribution services will if you pay a certain premium, they'll automatically flag stuff for copyright as a protection for you using the service.
Yeah.
So maybe it just tripped the detection automatically. Or Nate went in there and said, I'll stick it to Evan and copyright strike the video.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a prank.
Yeah. But hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we're going to wrap up the show.
All right.
But we got to do this again. This was fun.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was really good. But we'll have to come up with a name for this. I don't know though. I was thinking 2 dudes in a shed.
2 dudes in a shed.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
Dooder.
Dooder's in the shed.
All right, we got to talk about the origin of Dooder before we go though.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody call me Dooder, and one of the days Evan was just like, "All right, Dooder," and ever since then I call Evan Dooder all the time.
Yeah.
And he like never calls me it anymore, which is funny.
Dooder. We used to say it a lot in high school. We would just be like, "Hey, what's up, Dooder?"
This is way before my time, then.
Yeah, this was back in like 2005. I
think that's like all the more reason why I'm drawn to it is because nobody says it.
Yeah, we just called people Dooders all the time. We always called people ding dongs. We call people that. If someone does something wrong, we'd be like, "What are you doing, ding dong?" And stuff like that. But I mean, yeah,
Dooders are classic.
Dooder is pretty good. I call a lot of people Dooders. But yeah, but all right. Well, that was the Bogart podcast special with Nate, or not Nate. I'm sorry. I've been working all day and
a couple of non-alcoholic IPAs in them.
Yeah. Yeah. They always give me shit, and Nate and Dave, for that, but I don't know, whatever. But man. This was the Bogart podcast special edition with Nick. I call him Nick Bogart because he's my son.
He's my dad.
We'll do this again. How about that? We'll do it again. So till next time, we'll see you on the other side. This has been a Beer Pirate Radio production.